Hello! Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Let's play some fucking Tetris 99. Fuck it. No intro, no need. Let's just play some Tetris 99 like God intended. I did have a cocktail a little earlier. That's the reason I'm going to lose all these games. That one cocktail. That and everyone else is cheating. Get ready. I wonder if there are assholes that are good enough to... Probably are. Always is. So good that they can actually choose who they're fighting against rather than just hit the... I'm actually using a PS3 controller, PS4 controller. Using a PS4 controller to play this right now, and I think the circle button is loose. Hands are working faster than my brain. Actually, other way around. Brain is working faster than my hands. Gonna review any blockbuster reviews today? No. Mostly because I don't want to do any reviews of movies. Well, I don't want to burn any reviews while playing Tetris 99 proper because that shortens the review length immediately. I can... Let's see. I can review other things. Or movies I definitely don't plan to do blockbuster reviews for. Let me think. What is a movie that I would not do a blockbuster review? Well, I can think of one right now. Because I don't think anyone will even know about this movie for me. If I did a blockbuster review, they'd be like, who is this for? No one knows this movie exists. So I might do one for that later. Wait, so this is different. The games you normally play while reviewing? Well, only slightly. It's I mean, how do I... The difference is so minute, it doesn't matter. The only difference is, shit. Actually, I thought of a very fun thing I can do with this gameplay, but I have to get through this part first before I can explain it. I need to pay more attention. No, you're doing just fine. Believe me. No, when I do blockbuster review, I do it during a game of Tetris Marathon, which just means there's no other players, and I just have to get to 150 lines, getting as many points or as fast as possible. That's just so I don't have to worry about other players, and two, it allows me to think a little bit more on my review. If I were to do these for all the blockbuster reviews, there would probably be reviews that are literally like 30 seconds long, which isn't a good for a YouTube thing, but I just thought of an idea. But of course, I haven't seen the last one in this. Oh, wow, they're coming. They're coming for me. Oh, I got one KO in this game. Damn. No! You fuck. Damn it. What I can do, but I haven't seen the latest movie. Something that I thought about doing. I can do the 007 movies in order. And basically review what I remember of them. Even though if I do that, there's literally a handful that I don't remember a single thing about them. Okay, let's do it. Who cares? I can do a real one later. All right. We're going to do it right now, Felix. Because I've seen all of them except the newest one. I cannot do No Time to Die. I haven't seen it yet. Not for any specific reason. I was just scared of movie theaters for a while because of this COVID-19 nonsense. But let's try to do all of the 007 movies in order, because I have seen all of them once. I've seen all of them once and a handful of them more than once. Okay, Dr. No is a film. It's the first of the James Bond films, which is very fun when you watch it, because like any great what's the word, franchise, it's funny to see the humble beginnings of like, oh well, this is the first one before they realize like, holy shit, if we just crank these dudes out, we could be making tons of fucking money. So, I mean, it has, like, just a miniature version of all the things you can expect from a James Bond movie. Especially when you get into the Sean Connery James Bond era, where it's basically just a copy-paste story, and the real question is what kind of locale are you getting? And I don't remember where they go to in Dr. No. I do know that Dr. No is the villain, obviously. I mean, he's in the title. But it's also funny because watching these also made me have a slight appreciation, I say slight appreciation, for Austin Powers. Because I understood that Austin Powers was a parody, send-up, what have you, of 007. But really, it didn't really sink in until I saw Dr. No and was like, this is the joke on Dr. Evil. Like, yeah, what's weird is he has much less charisma, much less energy as Dr. Evil, which kind of brought it down only a little bit, but not really, because you have to remember the context. Like, this existed before that other franchise. And one of the funniest things that I remember is after I saw Dr. No, I saw a little what was it? I guess a Reddit thing, cool movie details. I think it's movie details, which most of the time Reddit movie details are just like, hey, did you notice that this scene has this in it? And you're like, yeah, we all did. That's how movies work. We all go see them and experience the references and stuff like that. But this one, I guess there is a painting, and I wish I knew the name of it. I didn't know I was doing this today. But there is a painting in Dr. No, in Dr. No's lair, that is a literal painting that was stolen that they've never recovered. And that was like a little inside joke to, I guess, art lovers. Like, oh yeah, you know who got this painting? Dr. fucking No. That's how evil he is. He gets away with art theft. And to be honest, that's the only thing I remembered from Dr. No. The fact that it was the humble beginnings of a franchise that will go on to be one of the most, I mean, what's the word? Stalwart? One of the most unmoving franchises. And it's an interesting thing to see because it was made when? 1962? So when it starts up and, like, it has kind of, like, that quality of, like, oh, well, we're not doing the big stunts, are we? Because, I mean, while we're starting on every single 007 movie. I should mention the ones I've started. I mean, how I started watching 007s. I watched, like, basically one of the Pierce Brosnans, and then it was all Daniel Craig. And some of the Daniel Craig ones, I was like, this is the shit. And other ones were like, these are shit. And you may find out which is which when we get to them in this special... oh my god, oh goodness, in this special version of Blockbuster Review. So I started with Pierce Bros and Daniel Craig, so seeing Sean Connery in action, especially because I had never seen Sean Connery in anything when he wasn't, like, in his 60s. Like, I had only seen him in, like, The Rock and a couple other things in my life, so to see him in his prime, clearly when he was just, like, the sexiest man in Hollywood, is a very strange thing, especially because you're like, oh, I see it. Because I didn't get it. Like, I saw how many Sean Connery 007s there were, and I was like, this guy? I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I've only seen him in a couple things, but this guy carried a franchise this long, and then I saw Dr. No, and was like, okay, I get it. I think I get it. I think I understand what was going through the minds of the folk watching Dr. No, where it was like, oh, you know, a little bit of action. We're exploring a different part of the world. It was an interesting villain. I think the idea of, like, world domination was just interesting as a as an idea back then. It was so quaint. The whole world, it's so hard to get to that side of it. But I mean, once again, it's going to be hard to delineate between all of these, because I don't even know when. There we are. We're done. Dr. No. It's apparently a portrait of Duke of Wellington, kind of a boring painting for a supervillain to steal, really. It's the fact that it's a literal painting that's stolen, and they weren't sure who had it. Turns out Dr. No had it. Dr. No. Hold on, which one is... I'm gonna try and just read the, like, blurb about the movie and see if I remember... Okay. Maybe... Okay. Next one up on this Blockbuster Review special. I have to play 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll have to play 25 games? 26 games? Oh yeah, because there is a unofficial 007 movie, that's right. Which, if we get to it, I don't think we can get to them. We might be able to do all the Sean Connery ones. 2 hours? Who knows? Who knows? From Russia with Love, from the blurb, I saw that it involves, I believe, the securing of an encrypted device from Russia from a beauty who could be a spy. And I am not positive, but I think this is when they started doing the whole Bond girl thing. Because that's something about James Bond that is like... As you get towards the later ones, you're like, why do we keep doing this? I understand why, but it makes me sad. Where you can't just have a good movie or a good action movie that involves espionage and spying. It has to involve women and sport fucking them, where having sex with them is just a part of the game, and like I don't know. But Russia with Love, I think, was the first to do that, because now that I saw the little blurb where it said, oh, it's about getting an encryption device, I think there's a big question of, is she actually coming over to British intelligence, or is she a double agent? I think that's a part of the story. I'll be honest, I'm not sure. That's kind of why I'm playing fast and loose with this game, because I don't remember much about it. Since it's kind of forgettable, I guess. I would assume I didn't like it very much. I think if I remember correctly, I didn't like it as much as Dr. No. Because I did watch them in order when I watched all the James Bonds a couple of years ago. And I think, based on what I think happened, I remember getting to it and I was like, okay, I see. They found, they're still working out the formula. And right now that formula is going to be, how do we include attractive women? And I'm trying to remember, because that's another big part of it's another big part of 007 movies is like, what part of the world, because it has to be an exotic woman, and I say exotic in giant air quotes because this is exotic because she is from Mother Russia, right? Not that exotic. Like, it's when we get into some more dare I say kind of racist movies, the exotic nature of these women is more explored, where this one it was like, oh, she's exotic, she's from Russia. Yeah, I mean, as I live and breathe, I cannot tell you anything about that movie. I'm guessing do we even go to Russia? I think From Russia with Love is just a play on, I think it was like a package or something. This may have been a terrible idea. I don't remember every single thing about the 007 movies. There are some that I can say for sure I really, really liked, and we'll be getting to those. We'll at least be getting to one very quickly. But From Russia with Love is kind of just flying over my head. Even though I know that it's probably one of the more famous titles, which makes me wonder if it has, like, deep fans or something. Because From Russia with Love, I feel like has been... even that title has been spoofed. In, like, cartoons and comedy shows, I believe. Like, so I think there has to be kind of a group of folks that really dig From Russia with Love, but I am not one of them. I'm also vaguely remembering a scene where a dude is like, I'm trying to remember, I think they don't speak Russian in the movie. I think they just have Russian accents, which is hilarious when they cut to a scene that's supposed to take place in a country, and the only thing that they do different from any of the scenes shot in the English-speaking country is they have an accent for that country. So it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure in the Kremlin they're not speaking English with Russian accents. Pretty sure they're speaking Russian, but I mean, what do I know? So I think that's another thing I'm vaguely remembering now, was a really funny scene where it was like this dude that's right. I think this movie has scenes where guys representing both governments have to do that spy thing where they call each other and pretend like they don't know what's going on, like there isn't a race against time to get this microfilm. And one of them was just this dude with a deep Russian accent but speaking English. That's right. Maybe that's why he was speaking English. He was talking to another English speaker. Anyway, here we are. We're doing much better in this game than I thought we would, and I'm running out of things to say about From Russia with Love. Obviously, it did well enough to begin the juggernaut that is wow, 007, because I mean look at the track record. If you're following along with me at home, kids, and you see the list of movies ahead, you don't make that many movies if From Russia with Love did poorly. I'm sure it did fantastic, but it didn't do fantastic with me. I just knew for a fact that I'd be watching 23 or 22 more movies anyway, so it had a ticket sold regardless. And by ticket, I mean the DVD or the Blu-ray pack of all of them had already been purchased. Am I gonna win this game? Am I gonna win the game where I talk about From Russia with Love? And oh my god, the movies that I love are gonna be, oh my god, those games are gonna last 4 seconds and it's gonna piss me off. Whatever. Such is life. From Russia with Love. Now I'm just trying to remember. movies or TV shows that ripped off the From Russia with Love kind of rhythm. Oh my gosh. I should keep talking about the movie. I just don't know what to say. Oh no. Come on, that's got to do something to somebody. Unless I'm... There we go. No, that's not what I wanted at all. Oh my gosh, I want to read your message too, but I just cannot right now. I also always found it funny when they would go to a particularly white... I mean, they did it a bunch, but like... like the globe-trotting 007, and he meets the other white people in this country, or he went to the very white country to begin with. Oh my gosh, I might win this one. From Russia with Love. I didn't love the movie, but it got me a W. All right. If you finish this, I do hope you'll be uploading this somewhere. It's already pretty priceless. Hello, Mountain Dew Fiend. I'm not a fiend for Mountain Dew, but I do love me some Mountain Dew on occasion. I'll try to... No, you don't have to. Don't worry. This was a fluke. I mean, I do win these occasionally, but not while I'm talking about From Russia with Love from 1963. Anyway, I beat the good pastor. Killing it over here. All right. All right. Let's see. We got 20. We got 25 more to do. All right. Don't worry, Felix. You can keep talking. This next one will be easy to review. And the next one too, because I remember those. I remember the next two pretty well. Because for two very different reasons. All right. I'm getting ready. Also, Mountain Dew, if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm reviewing movies while playing a game of Tetris. And right now I'm trying to do all of the 007 movies from my memory when I watched them, I think, 2 years ago. All right, so Goldfinger is, I think, the best Sean Connery James Bond. Now, it's... in reality, a lot of the Sean Connery James Bonds are kinda... Yeah, I've never seen much Bond. I'm gonna have to pass. Good night. Sorry, dude. Thanks for coming by, though. On a... Oh, wow. Don't. I love this movie. Stop. Oh, God. Yep, I knew it. I fucking knew it. But when it comes to Sean Connery James Bond, they're kind of interchangeable. It's really... It's weird because they really found, like, when I say they found the formula, when it comes to Sean Connery ones, they found that formula. And I think Goldfinger was the one that put him over. Like, they were like, oh shit, like, this movie is good and it does all the things that a movie like this, at least we hope so, in the future does. Pretty intense villain, a crazy idea. Not entirely plausible, but very interesting. In this one, I know that the villain is going to rob Fort Knox after knocking out every single person in that area with, like, nerve gas, and he enlisted the help of a bunch of different villains. It's so good, and it has such great reveals, and it has, like, pretty good pacing and pretty great characters in terms of, like, Bond girls who actually, like, do things in the movie. But the one thing that makes it even more hilarious, the main villain, who I don't know, I mean, he goes by Goldfinger. Everything he touches turns to gold. The actor could not speak English. Couldn't speak English. Like, he tried. I believe they got him like a dialect coach, kind of. I think they got him some help, but he couldn't do it very well. So what they did is just dubbed over all of his lines for that time, which is like kind of crazy. They dubbed over every single line of the villain, and you can see it. Like, you can see it while watching the movie, especially with this new fangled age of high definition, where you're just like, that is not what that dude said. You can see his mouth moving in a different direction than what those words are. So it's kind of crazy. It doesn't bring down the movie. That's the other part that's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. You would assume, okay, so the villain, which is very important to a Bond movie, like in reality, because if the villain is stupid and not interesting, like that's like most of your marks right there. So the fact that this guy went in and they were like, oh, we're gonna have to redub all of this fucking dialogue, and it's still compelling and it still works, and he's still menacing in a weird way, even during that classic James Bond moment where like he's talking right to the villain, like right to his face, and the villain knows something's up, especially because it's James fucking Bond. He says, hi, my name's James Bond. Everybody knows he's a super spy. Doesn't make any sense. Now I'm ranting about James Bond. But the fact that all of that shit is happening and it's still kind of twisty and turny and fun to watch holds up. And that was kind of the moment while watching these back in the day, when I was watching all of the James Bonds in a row. I was like, okay, I see how you did this. And I wouldn't have experienced the lull that would occur with the James Bond movies, which is no fault to, you know, them exactly. I mean, they were probably riding high on a sea of cocaine and money. Like, they don't need my validation for the other no. They don't need my validation for the other Sean Connerys or the Roger Moores. Like, the box office receipts speak for themselves, but I think Goldfinger is proof that the old ones do have merit. Because I think what some people could do is they can kind of go, oh, James Bond, like it's a dinosaur franchise. It's existed. It's like Doctor Who. It's existed so long that certain movies are not relevant. They're not worth your time. But I think Goldfinger is worth your time. I think that's one of the few ones. I'm kind of bummed that I'm kind of bummed that the Austin Powers equivalent is really bad, because I think Goldfinger deserves better. Especially now, because I'm thinking about the second Austin Powers movie was a send-up of The Spy Who Loved Me, and I don't remember a single fucking thing about that movie, but I remember Goldfinger and really, really liking Goldfinger. Oh my god. What else? I think it also has kind of I think that was also the first Bond movie. I'm trying to remember. Well, there's only been 3 so far, but I think this was one of the first ones too where they introduced the idea of one of the, like, there's multiple Bond girls, which of course they love doing that, but this is one of the first ones where they're not exactly down with the James Bond. They actually work for the villain, and maybe they're up to they're involved with the villain's schemes, and that means they're evil. But we come to find out in this case that, and in most of those cases, that they're not really with the villain. And I don't know what I'm doing here. This is atrocious. This is atrocious play. And I think, was that Goldfinger? I think it was, because I'm remembering a specific scene in like a horse stable where, and I do think that this is one of the first James Bonds where I was like, oh, that's a little rapey now. That's the one thing about this specific James Bond that I can't really stand behind, where you have to adjust for cultural inflation there, where it's like, oh, it's okay to treat women like this at this time. Oh, kind of uncomfortable. Kind of wish this wasn't in the movie, but I can't do anything about it. Oh my gosh. And, oh my god, do I have another win ahead of me? What the fuck is going on, ladies and gentlemen? But I mean, this movie deserves it more than fucking From Russia with Love. Oh my gosh, I've run out of things to say. It's Goldfinger also started my suggestion when watching 007, because like there's a lot of movies. I've already said many times that there are 26 of them. So if you don't want to commit that kind of time, I say go with any go with any James Bond movie that has gold in the title, and Goldfinger is one of them. It's the first one to have gold in the title. There are 3 movies. 3 out of 26 doesn't sound like a good ratio, but those I think are kind of the best. And if you like all of them, with all of its quirks and whatnot. Oh no, you said something about Gone with the Wind and I'm already fucking up. Oh, what did we learn? You don't bring up Gone with the Wind when I'm playing Tetris. God damn it. Oh, god damn it. I know that was past tense and I'm gonna hate you so much. Oh my god, past tense. Do you know what you have done? Oh, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. No, I wasn't talking about Gone with the Wind, past tense. I was not talking about Gone with the Wind. I was talking about... James Bond movie Goldfinger. Yeah, that's right. The guy who KO'd me fucking got second. That's right, suck on that silver medal. God damn it. God damn it. I don't even know if Felix is around now. But I will say, seems like talking about James Bond has made this work. Alright. Next up. Let's do it. Come on. Yeah, man. Alright. So, the next movie is Thunderball, which sucks. Thunderball is trash, and the reason Thunderball is trash is because clearly, when this movie was being made, someone figured out how to shoot underwater. And god damn it, did they have a boner for shooting underwater. They were so happy that they could shoot underwater, and they were going to shoot as much of this fucking movie underwater as they could. I think, if I remember correctly, the story has to do with a supervillain stealing, that's right. I believe a supervillain steals a nuclear submarine. And I don't know if they hold it for ransom. I think they hold it for ransom. And James Bond has to go figure out who did it and stop them from using it before they use it, and, you know, all hell breaks loose. The movie sucks because every decent action scene they put underwater. Actually, that's not even true. I think half the movie takes place underwater. I just remember so many scenes were just watching people fighting slowly underwater that I was like, Jiminy Christmas, when will the movie just end so I can start the next one? Because it started out cool. I was like, oh my god, they stole a nuclear submarine? That's possible in 1965 if you have a lot of money. But as it went on, it was just like, God, hurry up. Dude, fighting underwater is not interesting. It's just annoying and slow and makes me wish we didn't have to watch it. The other only interesting thing I know about this movie, and I'm pretty sure it's this movie, and if it isn't, I apologize to every single James Bond historian I offend. This movie, I believe, was caught up in a lawsuit between the original writer and the production company. And I believe the judge ordered that because the writer was upset, the writer was allowed to put out a version of the same movie with the same lead actor. So it had to be Sean Connery as James Bond. So the same actor, same basic story, but it can't have the same title, and I believe it cannot. It has to not be actually affiliated with the other James Bond canon. So another version of this movie exists that's technically not in the same like realm as the rest of the James Bond stuff. So if you buy a James Bond pack like I did, you actually have to find this other version of the movie elsewhere if you want the full collection, and I believe most James Bond fanatics don't even consider it part of James Bond goodness. But I say you have to get it because that movie is bad in a fun way. Because you know it was made out of spite and legal stupidity, and that just makes it so much better to watch. This one, knowing that this is what was the first one, and the fact that the guy was so upset he wasn't credited properly for it, makes it more hilariously bad. But it's just not interesting. It started out pretty cool. I remember thinking like, oh yeah, we're banging on all cylinders after Goldfinger. This is gonna be the shit. And then after we started getting our underwater suits, I just remember like fucking hating it. Just kind of waiting for it to be over so I could start a different James Bond, hoping that would be better. And now, as I'm looking at the list, I don't think it did get better. I just remember going on to the next one. But, what was I even gonna say? I also think that by this time... was it this time? I think it was by this time I started to notice that every single James Bond movie has to end with him blowing up their, like, blowing up their headquarters. Like, it started to become apparent that it can't just be I have defeated the enemy. It's I have defeated the enemy and all of his shit is broken. To a point where it was like, they were clearly making models of every single layer and going, yep, we're gonna blow this some bitch up. Oh, God. But yes, that was Thunderball. Fighting slowly underwater. That's the only tagline, like log line I could think of. At this point, you can ask questions because I'm definitely not going to win this game, and I have nothing else to say about fucking... Oh, maybe not. No, I'm not going to. I don't know why I said I could ask questions. I mostly just remember the nightmares that damn movie Sharks gave me. That's right, there were sharks. I just remember being so bored. I remember having nightmares of boredom. Alright. Alright. Next one. I have to... Okay. Right. Okay. All right. You only live twice. After reading a little bit of the synopsis, I now remember that it mostly takes place in Japan. It was set during the Cold War, but I think there was like kind of like a Russian. Well, there was a double psych. One of the psychs was that it's not actually the Russians; it's some other sinister thing in Japan, but I don't believe it is the Japanese. It's kind of like a rogue agent in Japan. And the other double psych, hence the title "You Only Live Twice," was that James Bond fakes his death. I think, if I remember correctly, the movie kind of just has this moment where it kind of plays along with the idea that James Bond died for a little longer than I would have expected. But I was like, oh, you only live twice. Once that kind of registered in my brain, I was like, oh, so he didn't actually die. It's a lie. But yeah, I do remember that now that I see, like, yeah, this was like the first one where they introduced like folks that weren't super duper white, if I remember correctly. So this had a cast with Japanese people. At least I think they were Japanese. They probably just as well could not have been, and we were just told they were Japanese. And I believe it takes place on islands near Japan, but not Japan. I think, I'm not remembering completely, but I do think there was kind of this worry to call it Japan while watching it. I vaguely remember watching it like they're making it real clear that it's not the country of Japan. And they do that a lot, where they're like, even though this is happening in German, this is not the Germans. Well, they eventually say it's Spectre, and I have no idea when that shit started. I wish I could give you a better understanding of when they introduced Spectre, which is this nefarious organization with Blofeld, and he's behind everything, and then they reintroduce it with the Daniel Craig ones, and it's kind of a big, if you ask me. But what was I even talking about again? Oh yeah, you only live twice. You know, this is when I started to notice, like, okay, now we're just in the machine. We're in the machine of making 007 movies. What's important is to hit all the beats, go to an exotic location, big bad villain, the fight scenes necessary to make a James Bond movie, and he destroys the villain's hideout. Like, here is where I think I just kind of was like, okay, we're now in peak rhythm when it comes to James Bond. This is where it is. We've gotten it all under control now, and they're just going to wring it out until people start getting sick of it, or until we have to innovate. And that's kind of fun, because they do kinda. I'm seeing the movies coming up, and they do innovate a little bit, but it's not like, I would say it's not like now, but that's not even true. We've kind of reached our own cookie cutter system of making movies now. Just check out Jurassic Park Dominion. I'm sorry, Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic Park is for old men, not these new kids. Except they're bringing in the old characters. Who cares? The point is, You Only Live Twice kind of cements the idea that we are now in a rhythm, and the rhythm is going to stick until it stops making money. And I don't think James Bond ever stopped making money. I think they all just kind of got to a point where, like, let's just try some weird shit, and if something else sticks harder, that'll be great. Uh-oh. I mean, it's just as well if this ends soon, because I am not doing well here with the You Only Live Twice. Alright. We're not even out of the 60s. Oh my lordy. That's right. Okay. Alright. Is anyone even here? Probably not. Literally not showing. Oh, that's why. Whoops. Alright. Next up. I'm not going to get to all of them. It's pretty clear. Damn. That's right. Another thing about this movie that's nuts. Come on. I want to talk about this movie. It's a good one. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is the only James Bond starring George Lazenby, because he literally did one and then bailed. If you ever want to hear one of the most interesting stories about Hollywood acting, there is a Hulu documentary called Becoming Bond, about George Lazenby, and after watching it, he has become one of my favorite Bonds because the dude just walked away. He made what I thought was a decent James Bond film. There's one big thing, which, spoiler alert, he gets married. There's a whole plot involving, like, allergy research. It turns out to be germ warfare. Blofeld's involved. But at the end, James Bond... Are you gonna be the first friend I tell this? What? I don't know what it is. And you better hurry the... Congratulations. I'm talking about George Lazenby here. One of the most important Bond stories in the history of Bond. Congratulations on your house. But, George Lazenby. His Bond gets married. His Bond does all the same shit the other Bonds do. I think people just didn't like that he was different than Sean Connery, and he fucking bailed. Because he just straight bailed. He, like... Keep in mind, important part of the documentary, an important part of his story, he wasn't an actor. He was a model, which he got on accident. Like, his whole life was a series of insane stories that led to him just somehow getting the role of James Bond. And then when people found out he wasn't an actor, they thought the story was so hilarious, they said, fuck it, let's see what happens. So he gets the job. He makes a pretty decent Bond movie, in my opinion. Thought it was pretty rad. Pretty interesting lore, because James Bond gets married. Spoiler alert, she also dies in the movie. Married and then dead. It also kind of throws a curveball into the idea that James Bond is just a code name, because Roger Moore's James Bond also visits the grave of his wife in one of his Bonds, so implying that there's continuity and that they're all the same James Bond. Anyway, the point is this. He leaves mostly because he didn't realize that being James Bond, because of what it was to Sean Connery, because of what it is to the world, it's one of the biggest movie franchises ever. It's one of the most recognizable characters of all time. He thought, oh, I'll be an actor, and James Bond is something I do. And no, they were like, no, you gotta be James Bond now. And he only signed on to one movie. So they tried to force him to sign on to another one, and he was just like, you know what, nah, I'm good. I'm straight good. And they hated him for it. He got kind of blackballed by everybody for his decision. But to me, it makes him one of the most endearing Bonds of all time. And I like his movie. There's some, you know, there's some, not chauvinist things, but there's some, like, man-whorish things about it that I really didn't like. I don't like a movie where he gets married, but in it he bangs, like, Makes an ungodly amount of women. Like, a plot point of the movie is, like, he goes to this ski chalet where they're doing research on allergies. He gets there. It turns out it's dozens of hot women and him. And I believe he proceeds to have sex with all of them over the course of his investigation of this ski chalet, which is like, what the fuck? And then at the end of the movie, he's like, you know what? Let's get married. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? You definitely have a venereal disease because you did not bring condoms to this ski chalet, and those women don't have them. They didn't plan on fucking dudes while they were there, and they are horny, apparently, and they need some James Bond D, and you needed to give it to them, and then you needed to get wedded immediately. So it's a weird movie, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Bond. I thought that he not grittier, but he seemed a little harder, a little more rough and tumble from what I remember, and I dug that. I dug that about the James Bond. I dug his James Bond. The only bummer about him not being James Bond again is, like, I kind of wish I could have saw him be James Bond again. I think he would have won more people over, but he decided that he was done, and I respect that about George Lazenby. And I cannot recommend it enough. That documentary, Becoming Bond, super interesting. Super interesting, dude. Super interesting story. Absolutely improbable. And the fact that he did all that crazy shit and walked away from, like, and people were talking about what his paycheck would have been for that time. Like, kind of, I mean, a level of integrity or insanity, I guess. You know, I just dig the dude. I dig the dude. I dig his Bond. I dig that it's a one and done. I dig everything about On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I now kind of want to rewatch it, even though I know that there's going to be parts that make me cringe. Anyway. You should have told me you were getting a house in the interstitials, past tense, when I can actually pay attention and talk. Oh my gosh. Congrats, though. Whew. Oh boy. A James Bond review praising George Lazenby? This is going to get some sweet, sweet controversy. Dude, the people that don't like George Lazenby, man, fucking deal with it, bro. Like, I'll say this, I like George Lazenby more than Roger Moore. I don't give a fuck who that pisses off. Alright. All right. Whew. What's next? What is next? Okay, Diamonds Are Forever are it's not how you start that sentence, is in theory the last Connery James Bond. He did one more after this that's technically not in the canon, which we can talk about when when we get there. But this is the last one that I didn't love a whole bunch. It has to do with diamond smuggling and Vegas. It seemed real cheesy as fuck. It also was one of those things where when I did a little research into it, because when I was watching these, there's like a little documentary about each one towards, I think, I can't remember when the first one happened, but they started making these little documentaries when they're like, oh, people are going to want to know more about the James Bond movie they just watched, and I didn't like it. I didn't like this one. it has a like cameo in giant quotation marks by Jimmy Dean as like this business tycoon that they kidnapped and pretend that he's running his company when it's really Blofeld. It also is it's noticeable that Sean Connery seems a little bit old for this, which makes it hilarious that he did end up doing another movie after this one where he plays James Bond a couple of years after this. I just remember kind of cringing at it all around. I saw in the little blurb I read before starting that it has to do with Blofeld again. He's back at it with his tricks. But I just remember thinking, like, so the plot is they kidnap a businessman and keep him in his own home. That's right, and I think he was, like, surrounded by, like, hot lady ninjas. It got real weird. It got real weird real fast. It seemed more like a comedy version of James Bond than anything. And this was the last hurrah of, well, seemingly last hurrah of, wow, how did I lose his name? Sean Connery. Which is embarrassing. The one piece of knowledge that made it kind of funny is he asked for, like, he got a real big ass paycheck and he donated most of it to, like, or he either donated or he demanded that, like, the production donate an ungodly amount of money to, like, the Scotland Boys Academy or something, where he was like, if I'm gonna do this shit again, give a bunch of money to something I care about and I'll come back. And, you know, that kind of, I do remember that kind of attitude being all over this thing, like, yeah, it's James Bond, I'll come in and save the day. Oh, it's Blofeld, oh my goodness. It seems to have, from what I remember, that kind of feel. And then out of nowhere, Jimmy Dean shows up, and I'm like, why do I know this dude but don't know this dude? And it's because it's Jimmy Dean, the sausage guy. I think he was also a musician at the time or something, but he was just like, why? You couldn't hire, like, an actor? Like, you had to hire Jimmy fucking Dean? Like, I remember in the documentary for it, he's like, yeah, I'm not an actor, but they, asked if I wanted to come down and be in this movie, and I said sure. And it's like, God, what a world to just be like. And I think I could be completely wrong. It's like I don't think he was the sausage guy. I think he was like a real big deal guy. Well, I mean, if you're into sausage, it's a big deal anyway. But I don't know. It was just kind of lame. I remember it being kind of lame. Also, including Las Vegas kind of seemed cheesy, period, because it's Vegas. Felix, I know that that may mean nothing to you, but it really is. It's so weird to include Vegas in your spy thriller thing, like your comedy, your comedy spy movie or your heist movie. Makes total sense. But, like, a serious, real deal espionage caper, it just seems weird to include Vegas. It doesn't seem like the right setting. It doesn't seem like... And I'm trying to remember. I think this movie also had, like, weird doom buggies in it that were, like, that were trash. That, like, I felt like you could run faster than. But they were like, oh, look at these space-age cars. And I was like, it looks like a shitty golf cart. It just had enough of those moments where you're just like, what the fuck am I watching? That's what I remember of Diamonds Are Forever. It kind of is like an anti golden movie recommendation. Like, if it's talking about diamonds, probably not good, because there's a Pierce Brosnan one that includes diamonds that is unbelievable. That's so bad it's... I can't even say that it's so bad it's good. It's just so bad it's unbelievable. It has to do with diamonds and the villain Diamond Face, basically. What about parodies like Casino Royale, Spy Hard, or the Austin Power movies? Or the cartoon series James Bond Jr.? Never seen, but heard great things. Shadow, you might... I think you're... Not to say that you're late to the party, like it matters, but right now I am going... Oh, I'm trying to do a blockbuster review for every single James Bond movie, and we're only up to Diamonds Are Forever, and I'm only going for one more hour. So I do not think I'm gonna make it. But oh my gosh, this next one. That's right. That's right. Oh god damn. Okay. Whew. This next movie. I think this next movie is the reason I don't like Roger Moore. Oh boy. Oh boy, this next one. Okay. The more I remember about this fucking movie. Alright, To Live and Let Die. Roger Moore's first. I didn't like it. One of the reasons I didn't like it, it seemed a little racist, and let me explain my reasoning. All of the villains, I believe, are black. They're also, I think they're supposed to be African, and they're all shown in pretty terrible lights. The movie does that classic... There's multiple Bond girls, one of them is black, and, oh my god, it even has a scene where Roger Moore fucks her, then they turn over and he pulls a gun on her and asks her information. So he could have done this before bedding her down. Kirk mentioned earlier. Dr. No did give me appreciation for, but, so he did, like, there was one, this whole movie is filled with, like, Bond girls that may or may not be good. And this one has, the only white Bond girl turns out to be just fine, even though she works with, like, tarot cards and shit. It's really bad. The scenes with the character, the evil characters, they seem racist, they feel racist. And the weirdest part is the theme song is Live and Let Die by Paul McCartney, a song that I had heard before on, like, the radio. No idea it was actually connected to a James Bond movie. And, wow. Fuck you, game. You're gonna make me... Fuck off. Oh no, oh no, I have to... Oh no. Oh my gosh, not enough time. God damn it, Live and Let Die. Fuck! I said all the things I could think about, though. Off the top of my dome. Live and Let Die seemed racist and was very weird about the Bond girls, and Roger Moore didn't like it. Alright. Man with the Golden Gun, my favorite of the Roger Moore 007s, which gave me hope for the other Roger Moore 007s, and then that was quickly dashed. But what is important is this fucking film, Man with the Golden Gun, has goddamn Christopher Lee in it, and he's kicking ass. He's this assassin that's like the most costly assassin in the world. He's the best assassin in the world. And through a certain set of circumstances, we believe that he is now targeting James Bond. I don't want to spoil the movie if you plan on seeing it, but, like, what's actually going on is awesome. the reveals and how the story progressed is pretty great. It's not like a traditional, well, it doesn't start like a traditional James Bond movie where there's a plot. We're trying to figure out how it all comes together. We figure out it's this big bad, it's this big evil. He's really, really bad. He's terrible. He's going to take over the world. James Bond saves the day. He bangs a bunch of chicks, and the villain's lair completely crumbles. This one seems to start out with like just the mystery of, hey James, we're gonna put you on this assignment. It looks like someone's trying to make like a laser that harnesses solar energy. You just kind of look around, see what you got. Also, you got this thing. It looks like you might be targeted by the most lethal and most costly hitman of all time, and it doesn't seem like they're related at all, and I don't think that they are for most of the movie. And then the villain, who is the hitman, gets involved because of extenuating circumstances. It wasn't really even about him. It becomes about him. He just wanted to like chill out, be an assassin, and be left alone. Because James Bond gets involved in his life, does he then become a big baddie for James Bond? He was cool just living on an island, you know, taking contracts, being Christopher Lee and rad, and then this James Bond started fucking up his world. And also the tete-a-tetes between them are like cool. Well, probably because it's Christopher fucking Lee, but it just works a lot better than at least the last movie, which, like I said before, when I talked about it, it seemed a little racist. But this one, like it has like a real mystery to it. Like because every James Bond matches like a tone and a story structure, you're like, okay, so this guy who seems like nothing's wrong, turns out he's a real bad guy. We're gonna find out how in just a couple of minutes, folks. But in this one, you're like, how does this have anything to do with what James is looking into? And then it slowly unravels, and you're like, oh shit, this is nutso. And it just plays out. It plays out much better than normal James Bond movies. It's more interesting and more fun. And I mean, it does have that same thing, which, I mean, if you're me, you have to get over it to watch James Bond movies. The amount of women that are just around for him to fuck, you're like, God damn it, we fucking get it. This guy is gonna bang everything that fucking moves, but it has to be every single movie. Turns out it won't be every single movie if we get there. But like, what the fuck, man? Like, for reals? Like all the time? This one doesn't even seem to need a female for him to bone. That's kind of it seems kind of the most shoved in here. Sorry, I just realized what I said and how it sounded. It seems the most forced, in this particular instance, where you're just like, why are you here? I want to know about what Christopher Lee's up to. I want to know more about this assassin. I want to know why he's targeting James, or why he's not targeting James, or why someone thinks he's targeting James, or who sent this calling card, because he doesn't do that flippantly. He's suddenly in this scene explaining that he did not do such a thing to James Bond. He has no reason to. He respects James Bond. It's a much better film than the first Roger Moore film. I think it's better than all the rest of the ones he does, especially towards the end. I think his Bond becomes more of a punchline than anything else. And that's something that I remember. Oh man, I probably should save that for the other ones. But I remember people talking about, like, well, he's the funny James Bond. And it's like, the humor I want from James Bond is the situational humor. Is like the situational humor and moments he has between, like, Q or him and M, or like him and talking to the villain. I don't want him doing bits, man. I don't want him doing stupid jokes. Like, I don't want I don't want shtick to be a thing he does. I just want him to occasionally have funny moments. But you know what? James Bond doesn't belong to me. And Roger Moore is proof, because Roger Moore has the most James Bond movies, and he is my least favorite. And that's fine. You know, I mean, turns like stories I hear about him, great guy, and that's awesome. Works with UNICEF, I think, a lot. Has great fan interactions, has some of the best fan stories when people walk up to him and like, oh my gosh, you're James Bond shit. Like, seems like one of the coolest dudes. I mean, he also has one of the funniest stories about why he stopped being James Bond, which if we get there, I will tell it, that I heard from the podcast, How Did This Get Made? Oh my gosh, we're at top 10, which is appropriate for Man with a Golden Gun. It's such a good movie. It's worth your time, and I do think it's, once again, proof that the old Bonds do have some merit. You know what I'm saying? They're not all schlocky and shitty. There's some goodness to some of them, and they're worth watching. At least some of them are. I personally don't think the Roger Moore ones are. I've already beat that horse dead, but I'm running out of things to say, and I'm still playing Tetris, and I'm kind of in a shitty spot here. The second I get targeted, it's gonna be a problem. Oh my Lord in heaven. Oh my god. I was just hammering on one of those dudes. Oh wow. Oh wow. Nope. Oh god. Oh my Lord in heaven. Man with the golden gun. Watch over me as I ascend to Valhalla. Oh my god. Also, that dude from Fantasy Island is in it. I forgot his name. And apparently he was the hot shit back then, and he has like a fight scene with James Bond, which must be cool for anyone, let alone a guy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my Lord. He's coming at me. He's coming at me with everything he's got. Yeah, I got it. I don't got it. Oh man. And like a man with a golden gun, I faced off against a worthy equal. Fucking hell. Ugh, I need some water. I need some water. No, Hervé Vallachez? Talking about the dude I said from Fantasy Island? Oh, man. Whew. All right. Starting to get into territory where I have no fucking idea. Okay. I was fun story about that before I start the next movie, and there's no way I'm getting old. I remember hearing a podcast a while ago. That's a podcast, Doug Loves Movies. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but they have like comedians and actors on, and it's mostly comedians playing movie games and talking about movies, and Doug Benson is the host, and he loves talking about movies. He loves watching movies, talking about them. One of the people on a podcast once said they were doing plugs at the end of it, and they said, "Oh, I'm in the new. I'm gonna be in Fantasy Island. They're remaking it." And they're like, "Oh, really?" And then he said, kind of like, under the under the rug. He's like, "Yeah, they're making it a horror movie with Blumhouse." And like the feeling in the room after he said that, and my immediate reaction out loud was, that's gonna be shit. Like there, like you can kind of just feel it. Like, who thought that was a fucking good idea? Who was the dude like, hey, let's remake Fantasy Island and make it a horror movie? You know who will love it? No one. Like, it was like people who want to see Fantasy Island, who even know what it fucking is, don't want to see a horror movie, and it seems like a bad idea. It just seems like a bad idea. It seemed like a bad idea, and it turns out it was, because nobody fucking saw it. Alright. Next movie. I had no idea what it was at the time. I just knew it was a lame-ass horror movie. Yeah, it seemed doomed from the start. It's like, why would you make that? Who was like, that's a good idea? Who thought that was a good idea? Makes no sense. Alright. I think maybe I'll get to half of these. Half, maybe? That's a good one. Alright, The Spy Who Loved Me. I looked up the blurb to remember what it was about, and it's kind of like that one's more comedic because it's about James Bond is trying to solve a crisis with nuclear warheads with a Russian spy who who happens to be an attractive woman who once had a lover who James Bond murdered. So, you know, instant awkwardness, I guess, when you're in the spy game and you have to deal with spies that may have murdered your other spy lovers. And from what I remember, well, and once I saw the blurb about this bad boy, I remember that Jaws is in it. I believe this is the first appearance of the villain Jaws, who has metal teeth that can bite through shit. And I remember thinking that's pretty stupid, and I guess I was wrong, because everybody fucking loved this Jaws dude. Because I believe he's in 2 other movies? No, he's in 1 other movie. God damn. I just, the only thing I remember from this movie, after reading the blurb, is there's a lot of, like, jokes around the fact that these two have to work together and they don't want to. Like, at one point they're tied up and they have to, like, figure out this action comedy set piece where they're tied together and they don't want to be tied together. They don't even want to be on this case together. And I remember thinking, like, what are we doing? And also thinking, like, if James Bond fucks this woman, what is the point? You know, like, because that's a pretty fucked up thing to do. Like, oh, yeah, I murdered your lover. You're forced to work with me due to this crazy circumstance. Madman getting nukes, threatening New York City. Why is this Russian woman interested in fixing that? And don't know. Oh, I think he stole Russian and Russian and British boats. I just remember thinking, like, what the hell? And also thinking, like, the Jaws thing, I remember the movie falling flat for me because I was like, so the dude's teeth are strong, but his jaws would also, like, Jaws. His jaws would also have to be, like, reinforced, and all the muscles in his neck. Like, I just remember thinking this is stupid. And apparently I was the only one, because that dude came back in the movie after this, and I was shocked as hell. Because I was like, that's a one-off. See ya, Jaws. He's also the same guy that was in Billy Madison. No, Happy Gilmore. I did the thing everybody does. He was the guy in Happy Gilmore who's Happy's boss, who Shooter McGavin has to shoot off of his foot, and he has a nail in his head. Same guy as that, and he does. Look, I'm not saying the guy doesn't do a monster well. He does. It's just stupid to have Jaws bite through metal and shit. It makes no sense. It's dumb. I couldn't get into it. I didn't like it, and the fact that they brought it back again is just even more laughable. I used to have a high school teacher who was a splitting image of Jaws. Give or take a few metal teeth. That's, I mean, not. I don't want to say that that man is not attractive, but he is not a conventionally attractive dude. But yeah, that's all I remember. And also the, if I remember correctly, the Russian was played by the Russian woman was played by a non-Russian woman, and I think that was clear by her accent, if I can remember correctly. But to be perfectly frank, a lot of the 007 movies are just kind of like a blur in women doing terrible accents. So I could be completely wrong at how well her accent was compared to other Bond girls. And they're Bond women. None of them are under the age of 18. I mean, come on. Even though Bond at one point is dating way below what he should. I'm looking at you, Roger Moore. Holy fuck. Some of the later movies in your canon are just flagrant. But I do vaguely remember thinking, like, I know this woman isn't Russian. It's like they're not even trying, because they know they don't have to. By this point, I'm sure, well, at least by the next movie, they're just running out of ideas, and they just want to make another one. So they're kind of stealing, they start stealing from shit, and the next one is more apparent than any other. But with that one, I was like, you could do better. You could do better than this. Like, you're the most popular fucking film franchise. Like, you could get some shit going. Like, you could get an actual Russian person. But alas, that wasn't important. It's not like now, where it has to be somewhat accurate or the people riot. But yeah, that's what I remember of. And of course, this is the name. That's right. This is the name parody for the second Austin Powers, my favorite of the Austin Powers, and I don't really like the 007 is based on. Kind of a bummer. But it is what it is. And we continue to play Tetris, and we continue to almost get knocked out a whole bunch. Fuck, that was a bad move. Nope, it's gone. It's gone. Got stuck. Got stuck. Alright. Oh man. We're almost gonna get to the 80s. Stick with me, we'll get to 80s Bond eventually. Oh man. There it is. Okay. Oh, this fucking one. Okay. I feel like that's how I'm gonna feel for a lot of like late stage Bond movies. It's just like, oh, this fucking one. It seems like they have a couple good ideas and then they're just fucking hitting it into the net. Whew. I did get a win today. That's crazy. Alright. Come on. I'm ready. I'm ready. Moonraker is a ripoff of Star Wars. And it sucks. I don't know why. Actually, I know why. I'm just shocked as hell that a movie about an international super spy can be influenced by the popularity of Star Wars. I'm shocked. I understand that a movie can come around that changes the landscape of all movies. I get that. And I understand that there's going to be imitators, of course. But what I do not understand, something I cannot get and fathom, is why would... Because supposedly, if I remember correctly, they had the script for the next 007, the script or the story. They had something going for the next 007 story after this one. And then they were like, oh shit, Star Wars hit. We got to do something in space. And it's like, fucking why? And not just in space, with space lasers. With literal pew-pew lasers. And grown men floating around in space playing Star Wars in a James Bond movie. It's fucking mental. And then Jaws shows back up. Not the same villain from the last movie where he was in. They brought Jaws back and they make him a good guy. And the only reason they did it, according to the documentary I watched, the little mini documentary on the Blu-ray for this film, the only reason they did it is because like a production manager or a producer, somebody's like child was asked about the last James Bond. What was it? The Spy Who Loved Me. Completely appropriate for children. A child was asked, hey, what do you want to see? He's like, I want to see Jaws. He's like, oh, Jaws is a popular character, nailing it. I want to see him as a good guy. And no one was like, well, he was a villain. They're just like, all right, fuck it. We're making Star Wars. Who gives a shit? Like, that blew my mind. These dudes were in charge of one of the most popular movie franchises. I mean, Star Wars, of course, probably took over at that point with that one movie, even though, like, little did we know it would take over the entire world, period. But the fact that these dudes, which the level of, is it confidence or arrogance? The level of like, fuck it, we can do this. If it sucks, who cares? We'll get another couple $1 million and we'll just make another one. We're fucking James Bond. We can do whatever the hell we want to do. If we want to do Star Wars, fuck it. We're doing Star Wars. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind because it was also slow and lame and stupid. Because the only way you can... This is a movie about Nazis going to the moon. Nobody gave a shit at that point. Well, They steal, like, I remember the plot involves they steal an American space shuttle, which at first I'm like, okay. I mean, stealing nuclear subs, alright, but how do you steal an entire space shuttle? Okay. And then it's like, yeah, Nazis on the moon. And they got Jaws. How did they get Jaws? Don't ask questions. It was just so dumb. It was so dumb and so mind-numbing. And then they just walk out. They just get out into space and start pew-pewing it with lasers. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You've got to be shitting me. And and then it was over and like Jaws got like a lady friend. They gave Jaws like a love interest. And you're like, what bizarro shit am I watching? And then to watch the documentary afterwards where they like through smiles are like, yeah, we gave Jaws a little something because, you know, he's just such a popular character and like my niece or whoever mentioned him and wanted him brought back. I'm like, you're blowing my mind. Absolutely blowing my mind what you're talking about right now. And, you know, I don't think a lot of people are gonna be dying on a hill for Moonraker. I think anybody who watches it can go, okay, we'll give you that. We'll give it to you. I think I know what you were doing. It seems dumb, but you went ahead and did the damn thing. Let's focus on the next one. And oh my god, I can't even remember. I'm trying to remember specific scenes, and I can't. I think I do know that it kind of goes all over the place, which is funny because they waste like real deal locations and I think really intense stunts. If I remember correctly, this one and another one, the stunts, I think in this one they had a stunt where the guy doing the stunt wasn't put in safely and didn't tell anybody because he didn't want to make waves. If I remember, I think it's this one. It's gonna be BS if it isn't. But there was one where the guy doing the stunts was like the short little dude, who seems absolutely insane in retrospect, who was on like the highest, what is it called, like gondola in the world, and they're supposed to have these little safety harnesses that they can hide in the camera or in the shot, and his wasn't put on yet, and they were like, hey, are you ready to go? And he just said, yeah, sure, let's just get it over with, even though he could have plummeted to his death. And he was just like, yeah, I didn't want to cause a fuss. And I'm like, hey, buddy, your death would have been a fuss for your family and everybody watching, because it would be burnt into their memory forever that they were a part of a movie where a dude died because he didn't want to make a fuss. And it's also for this shitty movie. It's for fucking Moonraker. Oh my gosh. Fucking Moonraker, dude. I hated it. But, you know, it's just another little bit in the journey of Mr. James Bond. So you take the good and you take the bad when it comes to James Bond shit, and that was bad, and I'm running out of cliches to say because it looks like I might be at the end of my rope here, kids. Fuck you! Oh, that was it. God damn. 13. Moonraker, don't watch that one. Unless you're watching all of them, then why not? What? Okay. All right. I hope some of this is still vaguely interesting. At this point, I can't tell. I think we may have to stop before the late 80s, which is fine. That's an interesting era. All right. For your eyes only, I'm going to be 100% honest. I do not remember a single thing from this movie. And when I looked up the blurb, it didn't ring any bells. Carried over to the next Tetris stream. I know that For Your Eyes Only refers to something that was written on a document that was given to James Bond, but when I looked at the blurb, I don't remember anything about it. Supposedly he has to like work with some wealthy woman who he doesn't like to get back some communication tech that was on a submarine that's sank. A lot of submarine shit in early James Bond. I don't remember. I don't remember. And honestly, that's fine because everybody wants to target me in this game. Fucking hell. What did I do? Who did I insult? All of your mothers? Why the hell are all of you attacking me? My God in heaven. I'm sorry that I don't remember For Your Eyes Only. I apologize. It was a long time ago, and I'm guessing it wasn't very interesting. There we go. Like, with all this shit, I should be getting some KOs here. Wish I could get it all clear. If I can get it all clear with all these people, I wonder what that would do. Probably nothing, but I'm not gonna get it all clear. too much going on. Fuck. Oh my gosh. This is... Give me more. Give me more. Give me more. Now fuck it. I don't remember anything from Your Eyes Only, but I want some. Give me more. Give me more. Give me more. Keep going. now I want it. Give me more. Come on. Come on. Oh yeah, now I'm baiting them. I'm baiting them. My gosh, I'm sorry. I should be talking more about the movie I don't remember, but we have a real interesting game brewing here, and I don't remember. I guess it speaks to my point about Roger Moore. Say what you want about, is it Timothy Dalton? You start to remember his fucking movies. Well, one of them not as much as the other, but... What the? You guys gotta know. You guys gotta know. You ain't gonna stop me. You just give me more KOs. A lot of Roger Moore fans. A lot of Roger Moore fans. How dare you? How dare you forget the great comedic work of Roger Moore? He was our funniest James Bond. Come on, give me more. Give me more. God damn it, guys. What do I gotta do? What do I gotta do to get you to leave me alone? Why are you all targeting me? Look at this! It's fucking next level! Is there a glitch or something? Did the game... Has the game just decided this is your turn in the barrel, bud? And it's funny because I'm not really losing. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, this just might be one of the most KO'd games I've played in a while. What? I'm just flabbergasted at the level of play I have to keep up at. Come on. There we go. Now I only have one person attacking me. Really seems like. Really want me out of this game. Alright, alright. Fuck! God damn! Would not let up that entire game. Barely had time for air. All their garbage lines were for my eyes only. Goodness gracious. Alright, next one. Don't remember much about it except the name. Yeah. Yep. Okay. That's right. Okay. All right. At least maybe two more. Maybe two more. Depending on how long they take. All right. Ooh. All right. So Octopussy, besides being one of the best named ones, is also kind of next level ridiculous. I mean, which you kind of expect from one literally titled Octopussy. It involves Fabergé eggs, a plot to blow up the U.S. airbase in Western Germany, a traveling circus, and a woman literally named Octopussy. So it is next level, and it's kind of ridiculous. I remember the villains being themed around the circus. I believe at one point, that's right, I think at one point James Bond dresses up as a circus clown and gets in a giant cannon and fires himself. Fuck, it's so dumb. It was... And then there's just a woman named Octopussy. I mean, I think that's her, like, nickname. It's still stupid, and it's unbelievable. And it also highlights the stupidity of like... Bond women naming has always been stupid, and I think it just kind of reached ultimate stupidity with Octopussy. And oh my god, I just remember it was like, oh, someone stole a Fabergé egg and a fellow agent died, and I'm like, what does that have to do with the other? And it was I think I was also pulling for Octopussy because I was like, please don't have this title and be stupid. Like, it'd be really awesome if it had this title, and it's one of the good ones, or the decent ones. And then he got into a literal clown suit. It turned into a literal clown show. That doesn't bode well. Ever. When you... when you're watching a movie. When the main character literally puts on a clown costume and does clown shit. You're like, come on. This is also James Bond. The dude that will bang anything that moves and get in and out of any country, knows how to use tech at all times. And here he is dressed like a clown being fired out of a cannon. I'm also really hoping that actually happens. Hey, some women are into clowns. Yeah, that's for sure. But I don't know, man. It just... I also remember a pretty long train sequence. I think there's a long train sequence with real stupid bumbling guards. And and now the only thing that's coming into my mind is Roger Moore dressed like a clown, which I think to me is like, after that, how could he be your favorite James Bond? Like, really? Like, I like the James Bond that dresses like a fucking clown. Well, and, you know, not to just shit on that. I've been doing that for too long. Also, Octopussy is, like, not just, like a concubine of the villain. She is, like, the head of a smuggling ring. And Octopussy is the name she chose. And I don't remember the reasoning, but I don't think it's good enough. Like, like, whatever reason you gave. Am I talking 007? Yes, I've been talking about every 007 movie in order so far while playing Tetris. And right now I'm on Octopussy, which I did not enjoy because it literally involved clowns. And James Bond dressing as such. And I saw in the blurb, because honestly, this is one of the ones I do not remember. I saw in the blurb that some of it involves Eastern Germany's, a death on Eastern Germany, and it turns out the plot has to do with them bombing the U.S. airbase on the Western one, and I was like, and they went, and they decided to do this via train? Via train? Like, because it was very train-based. Every movie... Clowns and pussy, what's not to like? Well, some people are very afraid of clowns, and they don't want them anywhere near their pussies. Or possible pussies. They want to keep clowns and pussies at a distance. I'm not a big fan of clowns. I'm not extremely scared of them, but if you're asking me, would I want any clowns near my pussy? The answer is no. Anyway, what was I where was I? Every movie? That's dumb. Okay, well, thank you. Sounds like you're afraid of the puss. I mean, in what way? I think a healthy fear of the vagina or the cat. Depends on which puss you're referring to. I think a healthy fear is good. What are they really up to? Being all secretive. Also, this is actually getting to the nitty gritty here. What are we, under 10? No, we're under 20. Me too. But yeah, Octopussy. What a title. What a bold move. What's this one gonna be called? Octopussy. The one before this was For Your Eyes Only, in reference to a document in the movie. And they're like, this one, we're going with Octopussy because there's a character in it named Octopussy. Like, the levels of cocaine that we must be at in this franchise to be like, yeah, that's cool. That works. And they're on top of the world. Like, they were printing so much money that they could get away with it, sure. But just the fucking gall, the arrogance. I mean, like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Not go see another 007 movie? Of course they're gonna see it. They love Roger Moore. Kirk doesn't know why, but people do. Fuck. Nah, brah. Oh, we're under 10. I need to set up something better. Which time? No. Sorry, now I can't talk about anything. Need to stay laser focused on the possibility of another W. We've had one so far tonight. In about an hour and a half. Probably an hour 45 at this point. We've talked about all of the 007s from 1963 to 1983. 20 years. Ha 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 ha. What a fuck up. Oh. Nope. Nope. No. 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 Fuck. Your overall impression so far seemed to be mostly be not really that into Bond. It's also, I mean, you're talking to somebody who literally watched... I literally watched all of them in a row once about 2 years ago. So I threw this idea together literally when I started streaming about 2 hours ago. All because you were like, hey, are you doing some blockbuster reviews? Fuck, why not? I can. Let's do all of the 007s because I usually don't play Tetris 99 games to do those reviews. Alright, so... yeah. Yep. This one's gonna be worth talking about. And that might be a good spot to end on. Yeah, I think this will be the last one of the night. And I'll have to do another one sometime soon for the rest. Maybe I'll actually see the last movie by then. Maybe not. Alright. So... Never Say Never Again is the true last Sean Connery 007. That's not an official 007 movie. If you get a pack of 007 movies that are official, it's not in it because it's technically not made by the same studios that made all the other James Bonds. That is because Never Say Never Again was awarded to the writer of Thunderball, basically in a lawsuit, I think over credit. The writer was given the ability to remake Thunderball as he wished with Sean Connery a certain amount of years after the original Thunderball came out. So this is literally someone going, now I'm gonna go do it right with a geriatric version of James Bond. It is bizarre. It's also really bizarre if you watch it not knowing that going in, because I did that and was like, why is this movie so familiar to a James Bond movie I have already seen? Because, I mean, there's been so many by this point. I came from TikTok and was not expecting this. Sorry, Meaty Balloon. I'm a very confusing person. Where's the Lego content? Well, there's been full streams on the YouTube that's me building a Lego. But one thing I really wanted to get to from this shitty movie. One thing that's very important. Kim Basinger is in it, and it's a movie that proves she has a different face now. I thought she had a different face. This movie and Batman, if you compare to movies you see of her now or recently, she just has a different face. Just a completely different face. There's also a scene where, because I'm guessing they couldn't get Sean Connery to do a lot of the action, Sean Connery plays a video game with the villain where the stakes are if you lose, you get electric shocks. And it's horribly acted and very, very weird. It's just a bizarro fucking movie with that I think is kind of better than Thunderball because it's not mostly underwater, which is why Thunderball kind of sucked. But, and that's really all I have to say about Never Say Never Again. It's very strange to see a movie that is so clearly James Bond, but not allowed to be fully James Bond because of legal reasons. But the only reason it exists is because of legal reason. Ugh, legal reasons. It's a very bizarro world experience, and I kind of recommend it. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but in the last couple minutes, my ability to speak is almost gone. I think it's because I've spent so much time talking about, gosh darn, 007. So as we're winding down, and I guess winding down to the end of the stream as well, it's almost time to go. To Meaty Bologna, if you stuck around, there is some LEGO content occasionally. Sometimes I build LEGOs on the stream, mostly on Sundays. Most of the time on Sundays I'm playing video games, and Wednesdays I'm playing video games, and Mondays I'm actually watching films, public domain films. Most of the time they're old as hell, and sometimes they're pretty stupid, but sometimes they can be entertaining and fun. It's happened once or twice. I once built a Lego tiger that had a butthole. That's right. I built the butthole tiger. I don't know if that one's on YouTube yet. If you head to the links below in the, what is it? Where is that thing? In the little, I'm forgetting the word. The menu below the video. There should be one for the YouTube archive. I don't know if it's there yet, but I know on the Instagram there's a little clip of me putting the butthole in on the butthole tiger, which was one of the greatest moments of my life and my LEGO history, because there's literally a LEGO set with a butthole tiger, with a butthole in it. It's kind of insane. But yeah, occasionally there's some LEGO content. I know that coming up, I'm taking a break. Just for everybody who's watching now anyway, I am taking a break. So the streams that would usually be this coming Sunday and this coming Monday and next Wednesday are not happening. I'm doing some house sitting and gonna take that time off. So, oh geez, there's plenty of stuff on the YouTube and on Twitch in terms of old streams to possibly watch. And I do know that I think the tiger, is the tiger already on YouTube? I think the tiger is already up on YouTube. I want to say it is, but I cannot say for sure. But regardless, thanks for watching who have, and I hope you have a good rest of your day and week. I hope you have a good next week, as I will not be here to double check if you are. Not to go all absentee father on you, I'm just not going to be around for a little bit, sport, and your mom and I both love you, and we want you to be happy, but mommies and daddies fight sometimes, and sometimes they have to leave. Anyway, oh my gosh, how am I still in this one? I thought that would be it, but I guess I just have a little more fight in me than originally thought. Goodness gracious. Sometimes I'm good at Tetris. I'm just really glad that this controller didn't die. I had no idea how much battery was left in this controller. I was like, it's gonna go off in the middle of a game. It still can, but... Nope. Come on, bring it up. No, that's booty. Oh, that is booty. Straight booty central. That is booty, booty, foodie, banana frame. Bro, fuck. Oh my gosh. Nope. And we're done. Anyway. Sorry, I got real quiet there. Thanks for hanging out. Meaty Baloney, I don't know if you're still here. I appreciate it if you are. Felix, thanks for hanging out. Shadow, that was here for a while, past tense. Mountain Dew Fiend, who definitely pieced almost immediately. Have a good one, everybody. I hope you have a good rest of your week, like I said. And I'll catch you February 27th. February 27th is when I will be on again. So have a good one. Peace. There we go.